Good afternoon. It's great to see such a full room. Wasn't really expecting this, but it's wonderful to see. My name's Andy Coopersmith. I'm the managing director of the Penn Wharton Public Policy Initiative. I'm joined up here by Milen Kirshner from Career Services. And we also have a panel here that will be speaking with you today. Part of the reason why we run this panel, and we've run it for the past couple of years, is that unlike on-campus recruiting, which is very structured, has a very strict schedule, very easy to follow, although very arduous to get through, finding summer opportunities in DC is the exact opposite. It is not structured. You have to really be very proactive and entrepreneurial in finding information, in tracking down resources and information about opportunities. And so we wanted to have this panel early in the spring semester to try to give you all a bit of a head start in thinking about what lies ahead if you're planning on working in DC.
So Andy mentioned on-campus recruiting, and I think that often career services can be conflated with OCR, and it can be assumed that it's the only thing we do. I want to let you know that we're here for you wherever you are in the process. So you have absolutely no idea what you want to do, or if you're certain and you know this exact thing is what you want, and you need help with identifying steps for how to get there, we can help you with all of that. There's career exploration tools that we have. We can also help you with some of the practical things like resumes, cover letters, even finding ways to find those opportunities. I think that Handshake is still going to be a really valuable resource for many of you, but know that we also subscribe to many other subscriptions that you can find on our digital career resources page, including policy jobs, political jobs. There's a Tom Manitos job board that we pay for. So I know that our website is a lot. It can be difficult to navigate. So I always recommend that you come in and meet with an advisor one-on-one so we can have a personal conversation about how we can best help you.
Hi everyone, my name is Yasmin Kabood. I'm a senior in the college. I study political science. I'm also a board member with Penn in Washington. So for the spring semester, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to work in government generally. So I talked to Dr. Martinez, who again runs the Penn in Washington program, and she just basically listed off a whole range of places that she thought I should apply, from Brookings to Center for American Progress to the Hill to nonprofits, et cetera. And then I just applied to all of them. Word of advice, cast a broad net, because you never know what's going to stick. And more likely than not, you'll never hear from the place again once you submit your application. So cast a wide net, even in places that you don't think that you'd be interested in the work, you'd never know. And then for the summer, I knew I wanted to be on the Hill because of my work at MPAC, which is where I was up in the spring. I knew I wanted to get a better sense of what the Hill was like because I was a legislative intern there. So then I just started applying to any Hill office that I had a connection to. So I am from Nevada, so I applied to our who was then our newly elected Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, who had just came to the Senate. And I applied to some House offices as well as Bob Casey's office, who's the senator from Pennsylvania, and some local House offices from Pennsylvania as well.
My name is Deepak Kumar. I'm a junior here at Penn studying management, specifically entrepreneurship and operations. And last summer, I interned in the office of Congressman Devin Nunes. I was from the 22nd District of California, which is where I'm from, and so I interned for my own congressman. I really relied on the PPI job board, and that's something that the Penn Public Policy Initiative puts out that has about 20, 30 jobs at any given time throughout the semester, and I looked for various opportunities there. I think the really neat thing about DC is that if there's anything that you can think of that you'd like to work on, any issue, any specific topic, then you can probably find an organization that's dedicated to that topic or issue. So for me, I really always thought the government and the legislative branch itself was super interesting, which is why I just simply went to my congressman's website after having searched for various opportunities, and I noticed that the application was open and available, and so I applied right then and there. And I think that that's really important because you're not going to get notifications for when a lot of things are open, and so it's important to set groundwork now and kind of search and see when opportunities are online, so that way when they're opening up, you're prepared. Because I think there was a few situations where I'm like, oh, I wish I could have applied to that, but the application had been closed. My job ranged from everything from doing legislative research for my congressman and staff to making coffee. And I think that that's a really important thing to consider when working on the Hill. is, yeah, I think we all go to a great school, and that school has a reputation, but on the Hill, you have to earn your keep. And I definitely think that it's really important to do the small jobs well, so that way you gain trust and are able to work on bigger and bigger projects the longer time that you're there. And so from starting off and just like learning how to answer the phone, which is actually super stressful, I think initially, because people can be very passionate when they call their congressman's office. Cool, I got some stories. But to even being able to just have an influence on some legislation that was being debated on the House floor, we really ran the entire gamut of experiences. But I think doing that just gave me a real appreciation for not only the people that work in Congress, but all the people that help them on staff. And I think having that firsthand experience was just like really important for me.
Hi everyone, I'm Omar Corey. I'm a junior in the college studying Middle Eastern history and English. Over the past summer, I interned at Center for Strategic International Studies, or CSIS, at the Human Rights Initiative there. Beginning in terms of finding my internship, I started exactly where you guys are last year, in that I came to an info session by PPI. So just by virtue of you all being here, you're already ahead of the curve in that sense. If I could, boil it down to two things, it's just, take the initiative yourself in terms of do the research. And the second thing is use the connections you have at Penn, and not even at Penn, just, the connections you have, outside of Penn as well, to sort of begin searching for a place you'd like to intern for. I mean, the whole process of like applying internships is pretty daunting, but if you just divide it into one application every few, whatever your time span is, just, make it seem much smaller than the reality that it is, I'd recommend doing that. That's sort of how I decided to, or that's how I was able to apply to my internships, is just take it one step at a time.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia. I'm a junior. I'm studying cognitive science and economics. I'm also getting a certificate in innovation and technology policy. And I was in DC the past summer. I was working at the Federal Trade Commission within the Consumer Bureau of Consumer Protection, and I was a paralegal there. Being a paralegal at a federal agency, it was kind of structured. So essentially, lawyers would put in a request to my supervisor for some help they needed on the project. So that ranges from like redacting documents, which is literally just taking a black marker on like personal sensitive information, to taking consumer complaint calls, but also I was able to take advantage of just the FTC's resources. As an intern, we were also able to help plan conferences. We had a Connected Cars conference, a big data conference. The FTC is usually known as like the government's privacy watchdog. And another thing I want to advocate is my supervisor was also very supportive if I ever wanted to go to like a conference at a think tank. So I was able to go to Brookings and meet Tim Kaine. I went to like a Google event that was in the Google and the White House Asian American Initiative, and like network with important Asian Americans in DC. And I think just being in DC and also the Penn in Washington, every single week you're able to meet with an alumni. So I met with an Atlantic editor, I met with a CIA agent. I think just being in DC helps you understand your career path much more, just with much more nuance and what you really want to do. Because I think a lot of times I almost thought law school was a catch-all, but then I realized that there's just so many other career paths within DC and outside of DC that you can follow. That's not just